What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special lunchtime edition of Giants Collective on this Labor Day weekend. I know a lot of people usually travel on Fridays. If you're still hanging out at work before you leave, hopefully you tune us on during your office break. If you're going somewhere, hopefully you got us on in the car or wherever you're watching or listening to Giants Collective. We greatly appreciate it. As always, a big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show. We greatly appreciate them. Use the promo code Giants Collective, get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. You can check us out on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts. Check us out on on TikTok and Instagram. And if you want to become a member, you just click the join button and you get those cool emojis, monthly member messages, and your name in the outro, which we'll have a new outro beginning next month. So appreciate you tuning in at lunchtime. As always, hit the thumbs up. That's a big help. And we're almost at 5,500 subscribers. I think we're like 15 away. So that's pretty awesome too. Appreciate you guys supporting the show and having those numbers bump up there. It's big time. Let's start today with some non-Giants news, but obviously it affects the New York Giants and everybody's talking about this. And we'll start with Adriana. The Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys made a trade for this guy. I might have heard of him. His name is Micah Parsons. There was many rumors that Dallas was looking to trade him, and a lot of people said it was just BS. But if you follow Ricky Scoops on Twitter, you know that he always has the goods. So shout out to him, and he nailed that. And they did indeed make a trade. Packers signed him to, I think it was a 4-year, $188 million deal, something crazy like that. Adriana, did you think? Did you think this was a possibility? And when you heard the news, what was your reaction to it?
I did. I think McLaurin, most of us hoped that it wasn't going to work out, but I think we all kind of knew, it seems like he wanted to stay in Washington. When Micah posted that whole notes app of everything that he had written down saying, he wants out, he's unhappy, he feels disrespected by Jerry. I was like, I don't think that money is going to fix the way that Micah is feeling. And I think Jerry just thought well, I'm just going to throw a bunch of money at him and it's going to be fine. It's what he's done in the past. It's worked for him, but not this time. So I like Micah Parsons. I'm glad he got his bag. I am more so glad that he is the hell out of the NFC East. And Abdul Carter is now the best pass rusher in the division, which is awesome. I'm relieved that we don't have to face him twice a year. I think, there's been some conversations around, the Giants will have to play him week 11. Okay. By then, we could have a winning record and look like a competitive, functional football team. And I'm sure we'll be a hell of a lot less worried about seeing Micah Parsons at that point. And if we're 0-9, at that point, or 0-10, then we're going to see Jackson Dart and we're going to see how he handles Micah Parsons for the first time. And it is what it is at that point. But I'm glad. I feel really optimistic that week 2 is going to be a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. And, I'm thrilled. Like we've said before, I hope that Jerry Jones clones himself, take all that money that he has, take medicine so he can live forever. Love to see it. I was looking at the last thing. I was looking at the Packers' first round picks in the last 20 years, and they've had 4 that have been in the top 15. So Jerry's going to be thrilled about those 2 first rounders. Newsflash, buddy. They're probably not going to be. Look, first round is great. Everyone wants first round picks. But the reality is, top 10 is way different than, the last 10 in the draft. So.
Yeah, I agree. Anthony, what was your reaction to when the news came out that Micah Parsons was officially a Green Bay Packer?
When you look at that Dallas defense on paper without Micah Parsons, it might be the worst defense in the NFL. So my reaction was week 2, let's go put up 40 points, right? Yeah. Let's go see Malik Neighbors run around for 150 plus yards. Let's see Russell Wilson connect on 3 or 4 of those moon balls. I mean, the Giants offensive line looked a lot better this summer in practice, in preseason. The unit does look improved. It looks like they're finally gelling together, like we're seeing some developmental progress from some of those younger guys, and the veterans returning look pretty solid. And now we're going up against a weakened Dallas Cowboys defensive line. I'm really expecting Russell Wilson to have a nice amount of time in the pocket in week 2 if all things hold true, and hopefully get a big offensive outing on the road in Dallas, and hopefully looking for our second win of the season in week 2. So that should be fun and exciting. I think for the Packers, though, what a fleece, because when you look back on some of the previous trades for elite pass rushers that we've seen happen in the league. I think of the Khalil Mack one, pretty sure that was at least 3 first-round picks and then some additional picks. For Micah Parsons, who's one of the best players in the NFL, to be traded for only 2 first-round picks and a 30-year-old defensive tackle is utterly insane. I don't know how the Packers got away with it. I don't know what the Cowboys were thinking making that trade, but hey, I'm not going to complain. I'm super excited about it. So happy for it, and now one Micah Parsons leaves, one Micah Parsons enters, right? The Giants basically have their own version of that with Abdul Carter, and I'm hoping that he's the guy terrorizing quarterbacks in the NFC East for the next 5+ years.
Yeah, I was pretty excited, but I thought it was funny. I enjoyed that. I enjoy trolling the NFC East fans on Twitter. It's one of my favorite. It's become a favorite pastime of mine. The thing, Adriana, you nailed this because I did a live stream about this last night. When guys are like, well, Dallas got 2 first-round picks, and they may parlay that into Arch Manning. I said, well, number one, you're not moving Dak. His dead cap is like $70 million. You can't, or it's like $130 million the next 2 years, and then it's like $58 million. You can't really void his contract till 2028 or 2029. He's not going anywhere. And Green Bay is not a shitty team. It's not the Giants. You're not getting a top 5 pick. It's not the Titans. It's not one of these bad teams. It's not the Jaguars. The Packers are a proverbial playoff contender every year. And when you're getting into the postseason, you're picking in the mid-20s, the high 20s. That's not a great first-round pick. It's not like you're getting massive value there for a guy like Micah Parsons, who obviously is a top 5 talent, even though we were stupid enough to pass on him the first time he was available to us. Like you both mentioned, luckily for us, it looks like we have our own version of that guy. So that's a good thing. And yeah, hopefully Abdul Carter can be as good as Micah Parsons. We do play Green Bay week 11. So what? That's this year. We don't play Green Bay every year. We play Dallas twice a year. And I don't want to see Jackson Dart having to face Micah Parsons twice a year. I don't want that for our young quarterback. I don't want that for Russell Wilson. Russ put it on Twitter too. He said, hey, if you need any help moving, I know a lot of guys in Wisconsin. I got to tell, hey, Micah, just take it easy on Russ when you guys play. That's why Russ is helping out, because Russ says, hey, take it easy. But that's good for Dallas.
Micah responded too and said, like, thanks for the help, bro, or something. I'll take you up on it.
Yeah. So good for Dallas. We hate Dallas. We enjoy that they're going through tough times. I'm pretty sure I said this in the spring. I don't remember exactly when I said it. The Giants are finishing ahead of the Cowboys in this division. I said that when they had Micah. I definitely believe they will finish ahead of them without Micah. So that was the big deal in the NFC East, without question. And although there was a lot of talk and it seemed like neither side was ready to negotiate, you always expect them to get something done. So while those rumors are out there, I still was a little shocked that it actually happened. But yes, God love Jerry Jones. Protect him at all costs. Let him live to be 125 years old. He does a great job over there in Dallas. Now, we do have some news of our own that's not very good, and that is Andrew Thomas, who has said, I don't feel like I'm ready to play. Anthony, how concerned are you about this foot injury with Andrew Thomas?
I am pretty concerned. I don't think I'm concerned long-term, like he's going to miss a big chunk of the season, but I think he's going to miss the early portion of the season. Now, I don't think he misses the first month. If the Giants felt like he wasn't going to be ready to go for the first 4 weeks of the season, he would have been on the PUP list or the injured reserve or whatever it is that protects the players, gives them an extra roster spot. Clearly, they're not that concerned about it. Otherwise, they would have taken that extra roster spot. So they expect him back within the first 3 weeks of the season, and so do I. Now, if he's not out there for week 1, that's fine. The Giants have a couple of other guys behind him that they actually do feel confident in it. And that's the first time we could say that in a long time. Last year, this was a major oversight for Joe Schoen. He walked into the season banking on Andrew Thomas to stay healthy. And when he didn't, he was stuck picking up players off of practice squads, moving guards to tackle, flipping right tackles to left tackle. Giants don't need to do that this time around. They have 2 backup left tackles that they like, and James Hudson and Marcus Bowe. So I think that's really encouraging for the Giants, especially knowing, again, if they felt like Andrew Thomas would be out long-term, he wouldn't be on the active 53-man roster right now. They would have made some sort of a roster move. So they don't expect him out long-term. It should be a short-term injury. He should be back by week 3 or 4, the latest. He might even still play in week 1. It's totally possible that they're kind of just blowing some smoke here so that the Washington Commanders don't know what they're doing. We know that Brian Daboll and his players love to do crap like that, where they just kind of lie to the media or they try to hide and cover things up to get a competitive edge. I've never really understood it. I don't really see how much of a competitive edge you can possibly gain from something like that, but it's something that Brian Daboll feels benefits them. So it wouldn't even shock me if that's what's going on here. But if Andrew Thomas isn't ready to go in week 1, I don't think he's going to be out for long. And I actually do feel somewhat comfortable with either James Hudson or Marcus Bowe stepping out there in week 1 at left tackle.
John, what do you feel about the Andrew Thomas injury?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I was definitely surprised to hear from Dan Duggan that Thomas had another surgery in April to have one of the screws removed that I guess they put in October. And the doctor supposedly told him there's a 50-50 chance that, you know, it can be removed or stay in. But I guess Thomas was feeling some discomfort, so they removed it. So I think that makes sense as to why, you know, we all thought he was going to be ready for week 1. And now it seems like there's some concerns about it. But I'm with Anthony on this. I think the reality, based on everything that we've seen and heard from Thomas and Daboll, is that if he's going to be out, it's not going to be for long. And the way I look at it as I would rather have a 100% healthy Andrew Thomas that when he's out there, we can rely on him to be the all-pro, Pro Bowl Andrew Thomas that we all know and love. I don't want him to rush back out there only for him to potentially have a setback, get injured again, and then miss the rest of the season. We all know what this offense is like without Andrew Thomas, and it is bleak. So I'd rather have him be out the first 2 games, whatever it is, for him to feel like he's 100% ready to go, and then hopefully have him for the rest of the season. I'd rather him play 15 games than potentially, 5 or 6 again. So I'm hopefully optimistic that, James Hudson, who did a decent job throughout preseason and summer, is going to be functional enough to be good against the Commanders and the Cowboys. I mean, without Micah Parsons, at least we have that going for him. But I think that we'll see James Hudson first, but I do really feel like there's a big possibility that we have our swing tackle of the future in Marcus Bowe. I'm just not so sure that we're going to see him yet. And I probably feel a little more confident maybe in James Hudson just on his experience for now, but at least we're going to have Bowe to look forward to for the future.
So I've been very optimistic this whole offseason. Like I am talking my shit. I'm letting people know the Giants are going to be way better. I'm letting people know the Giants are going to whoop Washington's ass week 1. We're going to beat Dallas. We talked about it last show, Anthony, where we feel like they have a chance to go 5-0. And of course, I had to put that on Twitter. I had to do that. And people thought I was insane, although they didn't read the whole thing because I also put in parentheses, we could also be 1-4. But, we went through all the stuff that we talked about, why the Giants have a possibility to do that. However, with Andrew Thomas, I just don't have a bad feeling. Even when this foot thing heals, it always seems like something is hampering this guy. Like, his foot's gonna, this is the way I think anyway. And like I said, I've been extremely optimistic this offseason, but I swear, I feel like he's going to go in there, he's going to play like a game, and then something else is going to happen to him. I tweeted out this morning that I misworded it because it was 6:30 in the morning, but what I meant to say was I can't depend on him. Like, I don't depend on him to be there the entire season. I feel like even when he's healthy, he's going to get hurt again. I hope I'm wrong, but his track record's not good. It's his hamstring. It's his foot. It's this, it's that, it's something else. He's never there. At what point when you're Joe Shane, do you look at actually replacing him? I know he's under contract, and I think they can't really cut him until 2027. I think that's when they would be able to get rid of him. But is there a point that you say, we got to bite the bullet on this and go out and get a left tackle just in case something like this happens? Either one of you can go.
I think that's kind of the benefit of Bowe, is that they're working him to be that swing tackle backup option. I think the biggest question with Bowe, though, is going to come based on what they do with Illuminor, because if they don't re-sign Illuminor, then I think the plan is that Bowe is going to be the right tackle of the future. I would like them to re-sign Illuminor and then keep Bowe as your swing tackle until we see what happens with Andrew Thomas. But I'm not so sure that it's going to be Bo right away. I think he's a good backup plan, but it just depends on what they do with Illuminor first, I think. But Joe Shane has to start thinking about that. And I think he finally realized it last year when he saw how abysmal that offense is. And then they decided to bring in James Hudson this year. But, you can't. I know it's hard. They only have so much salary cap and you can't spend all your money on the offensive line when there's other positions and upgrades and whatnot. But the backup left tackle on this team is an extremely valuable position outside of, other teams. When you know that Andrew Thomas is unfortunately has a history of being injury prone, you have to have a good backup there. So maybe they'll go after someone in the draft. That'll be their plan. Bo is the backup, and then they can, pick someone next year and see if they can develop him. I'm not sure, but I hope that is something that Joe Shane is definitely thinking about. And, a lot of guys that they brought in on the practice squad, I don't think a single one of them is an offensive lineman, which is interesting. I also saw that Tyree Phillips got cut. So I'm like, maybe they should be considering him. He's got experience. He was on the team before. So I don't know if I'm Joe, that's a phone call that I'm making right now. Have some sort of leverage backup option.
I think she froze in time. The Matrix got her.
Oh, me?
Okay. Yeah, you're good now. You stuck for a second there. You're stuck for a second. Anthony, if you're Joe Shane, how concerned are you about Andrew Thomas?
I think there's a lot of concern long-term and short-term, honestly, because like you said, even if he is ready to go in week 3, that's not to say that he's going to last from week 3 all the way through week 18 and potentially a playoff run. He does seem to get hurt a lot. He does seem to miss time pretty much every single season. If it's not one thing, it's another. And that is something that the Giants seem to have been thinking of this offseason when they moved Marcus Bowe to left tackle. I think people forget Marcus Bowe was a right tackle / right guard coming out of college. He didn't have any left tackle experience. The reason the Giants, in my opinion, moved him to left tackle is because they know long-term they have question marks about Andrew Thomas's health. So that's why they've got Marcus Bowe on the left side developing there, because in case they do need to make a switch sometime this season, let's say the season is back in the toilet, maybe they're a middle-of-the-road team even, and Andrew Thomas gets hurt. Are you going to go with James Hudson, or are you going to go with the young guy who could potentially earn a starting job next year? You're going to go with Marcus Bowe. So I think that's why they moved him to the left side of the line. I think that's where he's going to fit long-term, and I do think this is the Giants saying, if Andrew Thomas gets hurt this year and we do need to move on from him, Marcus Bowe is going to get a shot at the left tackle job. If Andrew Thomas returns fully healthy, Jermaine Illuminor is only under contract through the season. He's going to be a free agent, so Marcus Bowe will get a shot at the right tackle job. He's pretty much giving them insurance at either one of those positions. But again, moving him to the left side of the line, to me, was a clear indicator that they have started thinking about life without Andrew Thomas. And they're hopeful that Marcus Bowe, if in that worst case scenario, can be the guy to step in there and fill in for Thomas.
Well, I mean, in the preseason, he looked pretty amazing. And again, you can sit there and say the preseason games, they don't matter, but he looked really good. Now, granted, when he played, he wasn't really going against the first string defense. So you can take it with a grain of salt. But as I say all the time, when guys are like, oh, it's preseason, he's going against backups and this and that's fine. But when they're going against backups, you want to see them dominate. You don't want to see them get beat. I mean, you definitely rather say, okay, he's going against backups. Let's see what he does against starters, as opposed to, man, he's getting his ass kicked by backups. Like, you don't want to see that. So that's a great point. I mean, maybe the Bowe is their answer. Obviously, they're going to have to address the offensive line next year anyway. And I know they're going to, whether that be specifically at left tackle or wherever. They need more depth. They're going to need more guys. You have a young quarterback that's going to be your future in Jackson Dart. There's no way they don't go out of their way to protect him. But it just sucks because Andrew Thomas is such an integral part of this offensive line. And both you made a great point that Shane definitely addressed it. He went out there and he got better backups this year, because when you pull Andrew Thomas off this line, it's like that Jenga tower. You pull it off the bottom, it just completely collapses. Not a good offensive line with him. Without him, it's abysmal. And quarterbacks have no chance. So the one thing I can say is, even without him, we've talked about this before, Russ is good at getting guys where they need to go. He's good at making adjustments. You saw really good pace in preseason where he gets up to the line of scrimmage with not being 6 seconds to go on the play clock where you can't make adjustments and you got to get the snap off. So I do feel like if we do lose Andrew Thomas, for any length of time, like a long length of time, that maybe Russell Wilson can help out that left tackle somewhat. I hate it because I want the guy to be healthy. He's our best lineman, and he's the most important part of the line, the blindside protector. So hopefully he's good. Hopefully when he comes back from this foot injury, nothing else happens. And hopefully, Anthony, even better is you saying maybe they're just messing around with Washington. There's really nothing wrong with him. And he's just saying, I don't feel comfortable. I'm probably not going to be out there. I don't really know what's going on. And the next thing you know, he's like, yeah, nah, I'm good to go. So let's go. With that said, with Andrew Thomas in question, where do you guys, Adriana, where do you rank the Giants in this division? How good do you think they are compared to the other teams in this division going into the year?
I think on paper and from the little things that I've seen so far, I think they're going to have the opportunity to battle it out with the Commanders for number 2 in the division. I still think that no one is as good as the Eagles. Unfortunately, it's just the reality of this team. They're coming off a Super Bowl. I know they lost some players, but they still have a shitload of talent there. And they made good draft picks. Everyone's healthy. So, even with Landon Dickerson, being out a couple games, I'm sure no one's going to miss a beat on that offensive line. So I just think they're the team to beat. I think the Commanders are going to be very good, but I think the Commanders had a lot of beginning luck last year. They played some of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, a lot of them who were backups, and that's how they won 12 games. I think there's talent there. I think Jaden Daniels is unbelievable. He's unfortunately for us going to be a superstar for the next decade. But McLaurin is 30 years old. Zach Ertz is also in his 30s. These guys are kind of coming out of their prime. McLaurin didn't play all summer, so he's going to be a little behind. I think they made some good upgrades. I think they have good coaching. I don't really know what their schedule is like this year compared to what it was last year, but I just think that I think the Giants have enough talent, and if they play to the level that we expect them to be, which is to be competitive and play hard-nosed, tough football and get after the quarterback, and have explosive plays on offense, I think there's no reason why they shouldn't be competing with the Commanders for number 2. The biggest reason is probably that they have a tough schedule, but if you're in that building, the schedule doesn't mean anything to you. You go out there week in and week out and you focus on the team at hand. And, if they come out week 1 and they look competitive, and it's against the Commanders, then, why can't we go 2-0 against them in the division and maybe have some sort of fight in us that we can battle it out for, better than where we were last year or the last couple years at this point.
We start off 2-0. We're rolling. We're cooking. Mm-hmm. Anthony, how good do you think this team is compared to the other teams in this division?
I think it's tough to stack them up against the division until we start to see some of these teams compete during the regular season. But I think what's easier to do is stack up this team to last year's team. And I think the best evidence that we can find that the Giants significantly improved their roster is how much controversy there was surrounding their cut day. I mean, they cut guys that some fans were really pissed about. This guy should have had a roster spot. Dulcich, Chapman, and Turbo Miller. Those guys in the past, maybe for last year's roster, I know when you're looking at Turbo Miller, he didn't make the roster, but in the past, some of those guys were absolutely making this roster, and there was no question about it. Corey Black being a perfect example. The Giants finally cut a draft pick under the Joe Schoen era because their roster is now too good to just hold 7th-round players. They actually have depth on this team. They have players that get released and other teams covet and they jump for, and they might want to sign to the practice squad, like Dulcich, who immediately went over to Miami, like Corey Black, who got an offer from the Jets and took it. So when you compare this roster to last year's rosters, I think you see top to bottom improvement. And I mean, top improvement, quarterback. Right there, you've got an upgrade at the starting position. You've got an upgrade at the 3rd string position, where your 4th stringer, who was starting games for you last year, jumped over to the New England Patriots and Tommy DeVito. And all across this roster, I think you see backups that are so much better than what the Giants had in their depth ranks last year. And of course, the starting lineup is much improved. So I think when you really want to make comparisons, compare the 2025 Giants to the 2024 Giants, or even the 2023 Giants. This roster has gotten a lot better with some of the young players that they've added through the draft and some of the crucial free agency signings that they made. But then when you compare to some of these other teams in the NFC East, like I said, I do think you got to see what it looks like in the regular season. Philadelphia is a juggernaut. They won the Super Bowl. Their roster is pretty insane. That being said, Madden cover curse, Super Bowl hangover. Let's see what happens, right? Washington has a really good roster, but I'll say this. They've got a lot of aging pieces. That roster is getting older by the second. I mean, Bobby Wagner is still leading that defense. How old is he at this point? Austin Eckler is still projected to start. I know that they got that new young guy that they like, but Eckler's still the starting running back on that team. There's a lot of aging veterans starting in key positions on that team. And then Dallas, I think, is a team that's really regressed. Their defense, they have not been able to hold their pieces together. A lot of them have jumped ship. They just traded away Micah Parsons. And on the offensive side of the ball, yes, they added George Pickens. They still don't have a running back. I don't know what they're doing in that backfield. I think Dak Prescott has less help than he's had in recent years. So just generally speaking, I think that team is on the decline after, granted, several years of excellent drafting there in the 2000s and 2010s. Now in the 2020s, I think things are really starting to be on the downslope for Dallas. So I think a lot of teams are moving in the wrong direction in this division, but the Giants are certainly evidenced by their cut day, evidenced by just all the indicators that you want to find. They are moving in the right direction. So that's why I'm feeling so optimistic about the Giants going into the season.
You know, you make a good point when you talk about comparing this Giants team to last year's Giants team. And again, so many people like to just say Russ is washed. Russ sucks. Russ, they're comparing Russell Wilson to 2015 Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson just took the Steelers to the playoffs with Smith calling the plays and with no Pickens for most of the year. He still took them there. But what people have to stop doing is stop comparing 2025 Russ to 2015 Russ and compare 2025 Russ to 2024 Daniel Jones. You can't tell me that is not a major upgrade on this team. It may be the biggest upgrade on this team to have a consummate professional, a guy who's going to Canton, a guy who's played in 2 Super Bowls, won a Super Bowl, and knows how to win. He's been in the playoffs a number of times. He's a 10-time Pro Bowler. He's not what he was 10 years ago, but he's also not Daniel Jones. So, you know, that's a huge improvement right there. And I think that's the biggest improvement, especially on offense, when you have a guy that doesn't mind throwing the ball deep down the field, doesn't make mistakes with the football, doesn't, turn the ball over, that type of thing, delivers the ball on time. It's little things that may not show up in the box score that Russ does way better than Daniel Jones ever did. With how good our defense is on paper, you know the defense is going to keep this team in games. And if the offense can just make enough plays, the Giants are going to win some games that a lot of people probably don't think that they should. So I'm pumped about the prospects of what they could be. 5-0, I don't care what anybody says. It's on the table. Yes, they could be 1-4 just as easily. But normally we might go into the year going, they're definitely going 1-4. I ain't looking at it like that. I'm not looking at it like that at all. I'm looking at every one of those games. There's a reason the Giants can win that game. And let's see what they do with it. That's really the way it goes. We're halfway home, guys. So I want to give a big shout out, of course, to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show. You can go to SeatGeek, guys and girls. Use the promo code Giants Collective. Get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Let's hear from the sponsor of the show. 90 seconds back after this. What's up, everybody? Giants training camp is here, and man, do the Giants look different and exciting this year. That's why I'm excited to go and see the New York Giants in person this year at MetLife Stadium. That's also why I want to give the sponsor of today's video, SeatGeek, a huge shout out. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There's more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and more. The NFL is right around the corner, and MLB is in full swing. I love using SeatGeek. I'm thinking about going to that Giants-Chargers game at the end of September. I'm going to go with a couple of buddies. I'm going to go on the SeatGeek app. I'm going to look for 3 tickets. I'm going to click those 3 tickets, and I'm going to sit there. And I'm going to scroll around and see which seats I think are best for me, which seats are the best out there, and I'm going to pick the ones I want. It's very easy to use. SeatGeek has your back, and each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know if you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And know that Giants Collective came through for you guys. You can use the code Giants Collective for $20 off of tickets at SeatGeek. That's $20 off your first purchase using the promo code Giants Collective. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek, for sponsoring the video and the live stream. And let's go, Giants. Indeed. Thank you, SeatGeek, and thank each and every one of you for being here during this lunchtime edition of Giants Collective on this Labor Day weekend. Let's get to some of your questions in the chat. I saw one of our buddies from across the pond. We'll get to him. I didn't see SPP Williams, but the time probably threw him off because he's like eating dinner. Now, normally our guy SPP Williams is here at 1:30 in the morning. So he's probably like, what the hell is a 7 o'clock at night thing over here in the UK? Q-Dog, thank you. He says, did you see Chuck Knox's, did you see the video Chuck Knox did on Dable? I don't know if I saw that. I saw like his teaser for the season, but I didn't see the Dable one, unless that is the one you're talking about.
It was like a parody video. Dable was like singing about "That's My Quarterback." It was like a love song for Jackson Dart or something. It was pretty funny.
I didn't see it. I did not see that. I'll have to check that out for sure. Sam, thank you so much. He says, sorry, but you guys look like bums compared to your beautiful. Hey, no need to apologize. No need to apologize. I know what I am. I've seen better days, Sam. I used to be young. I used to have a full head of hair. My kid doesn't believe me until he sees pictures. Like I was once young. No, but we appreciate you, Sam.
Now that you say that, I don't think I've ever seen you without a hat on.
Me? No, I don't take the hat off.
I know. I don't think I have either.
I actually have my hair cut to where I just completely shave it. I've definitely done it before. I did a 24-hour stream for charity. It was a few years ago because I would do those. I used to do them twice a year. And I actually had my buddy DWG shave my head on stream. I forgot which one it is, but there was one of those 24-hour streams I did it. And I'm sure somebody timestamped it because, oh, shit, Baddog has got his haircut, and I need another one. Anytime my sideburns get dark, it's like it's time to get my haircut. So it's the way it is. Hopefully, Anthony, you don't have to find out that way. Don't have that happen to you, brother. Before I get to this, by Lou, real quick, completely off topic. I have my fantasy draft tonight, and Chris couldn't make it. That's why we're doing this show at this time of the day. We are in a keeper league. There's 12 teams. You can keep up to 2 players. Now, I don't remember the keepers. There's definitely some there. If you draft a guy in the 5th round and you keep him the next year, you lose a 3rd round pick. Me and my buddy have already lost our keeper for the year because we kept Joe Mixon and nobody knew that he was going to miss the year. Nobody. This is a mystery injury all of a sudden. So we lost that. We're picking 7th. I'm like, could you get a worse start to a fantasy season? Who do I pick 7th? Give me some. I like that's a terrible spot anyway. But give me somebody.
How many teams is it?
12. And we don't have a defense and we don't have a kicker. We have 2 flex positions. 1 you can use a quarterback. So everybody plays 2 quarterbacks every week.
Well, then I imagine quarterbacks go early.
They do.
And they're probably pretty valuable. I think there is some consideration for Lamar Jackson at 7.
That's a good point. Did Lamar Jackson? That was one thing me and my buddy did last year. We picked 2nd, I think. And we could not decide, did we want Mahomes or Lamar Jackson? And, of course, we took the wrong guy. We took Mahomes. We made the playoffs, but we lost in the 1st round. And I was like, damn it, if we would have taken Lamar, we would have ran away with this thing. Adriana, what do you think? Lamar's a good, if he's there, definitely.
I was going to say, is there any chance that Neighbors falls to 7?
Neighbors is a keeper. Keeper. Somebody has him for a 2nd round pick.
Oh,
Barkley's probably going to be there, maybe.
Or what about Higgins or Chase?
Jamar Chase is definitely somebody I thought about taking. It's hard. We got to have a bad start. Any help we can get. Any help.
Oh, that's tough.
It's a tough one. It really is. Like somebody has Brock Bowers already. I think Jalen Hurts is a keeper. Like it's a difficult league if you miss with your keeper like we did. It just freaking sucks. Yeah. Lou, thank you so much. Says media is trying to make this out to be the equivalent of the Herschel Walker trade. Different times, different league. Yeah, I don't think it's anything like a Herschel. Didn't they get like 7 picks or something for that? It was a man. It like built their dynasty. It was literally like 7.
Oh.
And Jimmy Johnson had a lot to do with that, not Jerry Jones. And the Cowboys ain't been shit since Jimmy Johnson left. So that's a good
Sucks
thing
for them.
This is off topic, but the profile picture here from Lou, the Chad Powers. Did you guys see a trailer dropped for that Chad Powers TV show?
Did not see it.
No.
It's executively produced by Eli and Peyton Manning and starring Glenn Powell.
Nice.
Is this season
good.
2? Because I thought it came out already.
I don't think so. I think this is
It
the
was
first
just a lot
season.
of promo.
Yeah, I think they've really been promoting it because I know Eli did that, that prank with Penn State, and that was pretty funny. And now I guess it's spinning off into a Glenn Powell TV show. I'm pretty excited for that. I think it'll be funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of Eli, our girl Adriana met him. That was pretty awesome.
So epic. You guys, if you didn't see the photo, I'm going to show you right now. So I was like, okay, so
you're freezing. Oh, there you go. There you go. You're good.
I'm so glad I wore this jersey. It's so funny. So when I got invited to this event, the dress code was like, wear sportswear. So I'm like, perfect. I'm going to wear one of my jerseys. I'm FaceTiming one of my sister-in-laws, and I'm like, help me decide what to wear. And she's like, you have to wear the white one. And I've never worn it before. I got it at Fanatics Fest, and I was like, oh, this is okay. Perfect. Had no idea Eli was going to be there. I get there. I'm talking to some Jets fans because I'm like, oh, I guess we're the only assholes who showed up and listen to the dress code. Everyone else is in suits. I like literally saw out of maybe 150 people, 6 people in sportswear. I'm like, sick. Okay. I look great. So I'm talking to these 2 Jets fans, and they're like, oh, Eli Manning is here, by the way, like sick jersey. And I was like, no way. So I walk over, I see him, and I think his wife, and I was like, so I go up to him, and he's like, did a double take. And he's like, oh, nice jersey. And I was like, thank you. I'm so glad I ended up wearing it. And I'm apparently the only idiot who got the message. But I was like, I had no idea we were going to be here. Whatever. It's a great jersey. And I was like, I've been a Giants fan my whole life. Like, thank you so much for all of the memories in the Super Bowls. Like, as a Giants fan, all of my best memories are because of you. So thank you. And he was like, thank you. Like, it's great to hear that, whatever. And then we took a picture, and I was like, I'll see you later. So I was like, there's people taking photos. I'm like, I don't want to be that one who's like trying to have a 15-minute long conversation. Well, he like has to go do shit because he ended up introducing everyone later. And then I saw Dart come in. So him and Dart were talking to each other. So it was awesome. I was like, this is the best day of my life.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool when you get to meet your idols. That's pretty good, especially when they're good people. When you meet them, they always say sometimes you don't want to meet your idols because they're not good people. But that was really cool. So I forgot. I wanted to ask you about that at the beginning, what it was like to meet Eli Manning. I jokingly texted her back. I said, hey, you should have asked him to come on the show. It's been great.
Someone asked me if I like asked him different questions, and I was like, you guys, I had like my tequila drink in hand that I was like sipping for liquid courage, and I was like nervous. I was like, I'm trying to get in and get out without making an asshole of myself and without like taking up all of his time, because he's trying to take pictures with like kids.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome, without question. I didn't see Eli sipping a tequila with you, though. I definitely see Eli doing that, without question.
I should have brought over shots.
Yes, Eli would do it. Eli. Door Gunner, thank you. He says, ready for week 1, flying up from Florida for the game. There you go. He's a Commander fan, by the way. I hate to tell you, you're my guy, Door Gunner. You're going to be disappointed when you leave that stadium. I'm just telling you right now. You're going to lose. You're going to lose. You're going to get a dose of reality, Commander fans, that you had an outlier year and it was fun, and you think you're going places, and you might have a good year, but you're losing week 1. Thank you. Playboy Phil. Thank you so much. Here we go. Here's a fantasy. I got fantasy tonight. I got Bijan, Saquon, and Neighbors available to pick. No biased. Who should I take? I would
probably Saquon, man. He's coming off of a 2000 season. I don't know.
But what about the Madden curse?
I would say Bijan.
that is true.
I'd say Bijan. Only because can Saquon stay healthy too? I mean, maybe he will with Philly. But can he stay fully healthy for 2 years in a row? And do you really think he can have the year this year that he had last year? I mean, maybe he can. I mean, it's still a damn good team, and he's still Saquon Barkley.
It's hard to replicate that, though.
This is why I would say Bijan, Playboy Phil, because when you get on the 1 yard line, Hurts is getting the touchdown, dude. When you're Atlanta, Penix ain't getting pushed into the end zone. Penix is not the biggest guy. Well, he's not small, but Hurts, you get inside the 1, they're pushing him. So you're taking that touchdown away from Barkley. So I would go Bijan because in the same situation, Penix is giving the ball to him. And Neighbors is the wide receiver. I think they're less reliable as far as like scoring touchdowns. At least in my league, touchdowns are like everything. Like that's big points for touchdowns. So
I know. I really want to say Neighbors because I feel like he's going to be the focal point of this offense. But I'm also like, I think Russ is probably going to try and spread the ball around a little bit more than Jones did last year. And, that toe makes me a little nervous. I still think he's going to have a really good year. But like, if God forbid he gets injured and is out a couple games, I don't know. The injury thing is so tough.
If you're a believer in the Malik Neighbors Triple Crown, you got to take him.
There you go. I was going to say Anthony's got him like 1,500 to 100, 140 receptions, 1,700 yards, 17 to. I'll sign up for that right now, dude.
I mean, Jamar did the Triple Crown last year. He was the number 1 scorer. He's going number 1 in nearly every fantasy draft as a result. So if you really believe in it, if you think it's going to happen for Malik, I think you got to go ahead and take him over the running backs.
Well, I can tell you this. If he was there when I was picking 7th overall, I would definitely take him. I'm hoping Jamar Chase is there at 7 overall because that's really the guy that I want to take. And if it's not him, it'll probably be Joe Burrow. I have a feeling Lamar Jackson will go in the top 3. I just know that's what's going to happen. I seriously doubt he'll make it to us at 7. 7 is a shit position to pick. It's tough. Martin, there's our buddy from across the pond. We here live. It's early. It was 6:50 in the UK when you guys, it's dinner time over there in the UK, not your typical 1 in the morning. We appreciate you, Martin, and all our friends from across the pond, because again, when normally we record this show or do this show, it's really late and you guys are still here supporting us and repping Big Blue, and we appreciate it very much. And he says, I'm happy playing Bo at left tackle if Andrew Thomas can't go. How comfortable are you? I know you guys mentioned in the beginning, but could you see Shane doing that and saying, you know what, Rook, we're going to throw you right into the fire and still let Hudson be the backup? Or do you think he says we should take our time with Bo? And how would you do that if you're Joe Shane? With Russell Wilson, at least it's a veteran quarterback. So, Russ is going to be able to figure stuff out. He's going to help a rookie in that position. But if you're Joe Shane, what's your thought process there?
I think they're going to go Hudson. I would like to see Bo, I think, at some point, but I just think that's the whole reason they brought in Hudson, why they paid him the amount of money that they did. They signed him to a 2-year deal. There's some good guaranteed money there, and he's been getting all the reps with the ones. I just think Marcus Bo because he hasn't gotten all of those reps throughout the summer and preseason, it leads me to believe that they're going to go the Hudson route at least first and see how it goes and potentially play Marcus Bo at some point. But I would be surprised if they started with Bo over Hudson based on what we've seen this summer and who's getting reps where.
What do you think, Anthony?
I think it's unlikely he starts the season at week 1. It just doesn't seem like something that the Giants are keen on, throwing a rookie out there into the fire. I mean, they're very intentional about Jackson Dart, for example. Honestly, if you look at Jackson Dart and the way he played in the preseason, you compare it to Marcus Bo, you would say Jackson Dart probably looked even better, and they're not going to be starting him week 1. Now I know that they have an established starter and Russell Wilson ahead of Jackson Dart, so obviously that's part of it. But even if Russell Wilson weren't here, but Jameis Winston were, I still don't think Jackson Dart would be starting. I think it's just because that's how the Giants want to treat these rookies. They want to take time. They don't want to rush them. They want them to sit for a while before entering the lineup. There's a part of me that really wants to see Marcus Bo start if Andrew Thomas can't go, but there's also a part of me that says, you know what, the Giants are probably going to do this the logical way, which is to protect that rookie, not throw him into the fire in week 1. Just let him take his time, and once he's really ready to go, because as great as Marcus Bo was, he wasn't perfect by any means. He still has some flaws. He's still learning some things, and he is still transitioning from right tackle to left tackle. So he's not a finished, ready-made product just yet, even though he looked great in the preseason, albeit against some backups. So I think the Giants are going to take it easy with him. I don't think Marcus Bowe is going to be rushed into the lineup. I think later on the season, there will be an opportunity for him to play. And I think he'll take that opportunity and he will run with it. But for now, the Giants want to be patient with all of these guys. Even Cam Scatterbo, I think, is going to have limited reps to start the season as Tyrone Tracy Jr. is really working as that lead back. So I think they're going to be patient with Marcus Bowe.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to have this discussion. I just wish Andrew Thomas was completely healthy and ready to go week 1, but it is what it is. And at least, like you both mentioned at the top of the show, they're much more prepared to deal with an injury to Andrew Thomas if he does have to miss an extended period of time. So if there's anything good to take out of it, it's that. And when you mentioned, Anthony, about the people that we cut, that people were upset that we cut some of them, just speaks to the depth that the Giants are now building. And that's the way you become a competitive football team, because every team deals with injuries. So when your backups are not falling off a cliff compared to your starters and they're consummate professionals, you're going to be able to compete a lot better. So Joe Schoen had a great last 2 years, I think. And I really want to see it translate onto the field, man. It's got to happen. It's got to happen. And this is the year it happens. Fuego Dharma, thank you so much. I've seen no Cowboys hats today, no fans today. Cowboys Twitter is in disarray. Like, I'm done. I'm not doing this year. I'm not. And I laugh. As Giants fans, how many years have we had to come on here and show our face and stay on Twitter and talk about this team when everybody's making fun of you, or the Saquon Barkley thing and this, and you suck and you're 3-14 and Daniel Jones, and the list goes on and on and on and on. How Cowboys fans going to give up because you guys got to frickin' grow a thicker skin, man.
I've been really enjoying the crash out videos. TikTok has been a wonderful space today.
Speaking of videos, I know the Giants put these little shorts up there where they ask these guys questions, like stuff. How can anybody watch these videos and not love Jameis Winston?
How?
He is hilarious, man. He is hilarious. The locker room needs that personality. Like, they need guys that joke around, man. You know, you got to be serious. I understand. You got a game to win, but you can't be serious 100% of the time. You got to loosen up a little bit. I think those type of personalities definitely have helped, this team in the preseason. Anyway, that's why they look different. They're having fun. It's not all, there's some smiles. There's some laughs. It's a good thing. New York Sports, thanks so much. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown was a keeper. I think he was a keeper. I'm pretty sure somebody kept him. It's tough because you can keep up to 2 players. So when there's 12 teams, you run out of guys fast. And once you get out of that second round, then it's slim pickings everywhere. It's crazy how fast the talent goes in this fantasy league. I mean, I'm lucky I won it twice, but
did someone keep Daniels?
Yeah, Jaden Daniels where was he picked last year? Maybe 5th round. So they lose a 3rd rounder. Yeah. These guys, a lot of people will take rookies at the end of the draft. I mean, that's your strategy. You take a guy that's like a backup. Like, someone will take Jackson Dart in the 12th round. And that way they can keep him with a 10th round pick next year. Somebody took Michael Penix. They took Michael Penix right before I had a chance to pick, which pissed me off. It was in the 14th round, and I was like, damn it, I wanted Michael Penix. So there's some strategy involved at the back end of the draft. You're not going to get a guy that's going to make an impact anyway, so you try to draft for next year. But 7th it's a shit position. You're in the middle every time you go through a round. It just sucks. Dan Lockett. JJ, thank you, bro. He says 2-0 isn't impossible. Word on Thomas and Theo status. What is the status on Theo? I know we talked about Andrew Thomas at length in this show. You guys heard anything about Theo?
He hasn't
been practicing,
but supposedly they're not that worried about it. Dable is so annoying to me at this time of year with the injuries. Like, I listen to his press conferences and I'm like, I literally hate you. Like, just don't even stand up there because you don't tell anyone anything. It is so goddamn annoying.
It is. That's why I think I did a Dable. I did years ago, I did a Joe Judge parody press conference. I'm pretty sure I did one for Dable last year, the year before. I did that crap. He's got a hammy. Yep. He's got an arm. Yep. He's got a butt. Yep. Whatever. Just go through the whole anatomy because he doesn't give you anything. And it is frustrating. And I understand there's some gamesmanship involved. You don't want to let your opponents know what's going on with your players, but holy shit, man. Can we get something, anything? He just doesn't want to divulge any information, which is no good. H50 says, make an AI bot of Jerry to make the decisions of the future. I like that a lot. I wonder what Dallas would do with their draft pick this year.
I thought I heard that when Jerry spoke to the media with his press conference last night, that he said something like, well, we don't have to use those picks in the future. We could use them for now. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But you're going to replace Micah Parsons? Like, what are you going to do with those?
I think Jerry Jones, I heard, part of his press conference, I heard him say Micah Parsons was fragile. I definitely heard him say that. And I also heard him say the defense is better without him. Now, I don't know. Maybe Jerry's into clouds, but your defense is not better without Micah Parsons. I'm just like I said, just like right here. Hope Jerry lives another 10,000 years. Yeah.
Yep.
Jones is he's a genius if you're a Giants fan. That's for sure. Anthony says, "What up, guys? I feel good. I feel good about the Giants going 4-1 the first 5 weeks.
About 5-0.
Let's talk about week 1 a little bit. 5-0 is even better. 5-0 is even better. I knew I was going to take some heat for that tweet. I knew it, but I didn't care. Let's talk about week 1 really quick. We'll obviously discuss this a lot more next week. How do you attack Jaden Daniels? Like, what do you think the Giants have to do to kind of, I don't want to say stop Jaden Daniels because I don't know that you can stop him, but to kind of contain him. The first game, we blitzed him a lot and we sacked him 7 times. The second game, I don't remember them blitzing as much, but they didn't touch him. So if you're Shane Bowen, how do you go about slowing Jaden Daniels down? I'm not worried about Cam Akers. I'm not really worried about them running. I think if they run, they do us a favor. I'm more concerned about Jaden Daniels running. What do you do? What's your game plan against Jaden Daniels?
I think you have to run a lot of nickel and dime defense to keep as much speed on the field as possible. You're going to have extra defensive backs and some depth in that regard, which is honestly where the Giants are a little thin, is with the safety depth and with their cornerback depth. So that's a little bit of a struggle in terms of that matchup. But I think that's what you have to do. You really need to rely on a guy like Drew Phillips to step up in that game as a physical nickel cornerback who can move into the box and make plays as a pseudo linebacker. You really need a guy like Dane Belton to step up and give you his best football as well when you are in those dime packages. And you need a guy like Tyler Nubin to get down into the box and make some plays as a quarterback spy. So I think that's the only real way that you slow down Jaden Daniels. You get as much speed on the field as possible. And that also means, when you've got your down defensive lineman, you're probably dropping Roy Robertson Harris off the field quite a lot and moving Abdul Carter inside. And you've got to get just speed everywhere. You've got to blitz, you've got to play contain, and you have to have a lot of speedy defensive backs and linebackers and edge rushers out there who can quarterback contain, quarterback spy, and just get after the quarterback as quickly as possible. Because on top of him being a dual threat and having the ability, the escapability in the pocket to maneuver and to create plays with his legs, that passing offense is also really quick. Like Cliff Kingsbury is adamant to get the ball out of your hands in under 2 seconds. Like, they get the snap and they throw the ball. There is no wasting time in the pocket unless Jaden Daniels is trying to cook you in the backfield and hit you on a deep play or a big scramble for a gain. So it's got to be speed. You have to drop some of those linebackers and defensive linemen off the field, and you got to get as many capable defensive backs on the field as you possibly can.
Mm.
Do you bring a guy like Drew Phillips? Do you have like a guy that spies Jaden Daniels like the whole game? Do you think they should do something like that, or just there is a spot like a Drew Phillips or somebody that can chase him down in case he takes off. I think, again, he's tough because he can throw the ball. He's not like one of these guys that only can run the ball. He can actually throw the ball too. So he's a difficult matchup. But obviously, if you're going to beat Washington, if you can make him play average, I feel like you're going to win. I don't think their defense is great by any stretch of the imagination. I think Adriana mentioned earlier, maybe you did, Anthony, I forgot, that their players are getting older. How old is Deebo Samuel now? And Terry McLaurin didn't play all summer. He's 30 years old. I mean, 30 years old to me is young. It's a kid. But in the NFL, when you're a wide receiver, I mean, your better days are behind you at 30 years old. But still, Jaden Daniels is incredibly effective. Ertz is also old. They have an older team. It's kind of weird the way they've done this. It's a lot of veterans. And sometimes, man, those guys break down. Sometimes those guys just have years that completely fall off out of nowhere. And I'm not saying that's going to happen, but when it's more likely to happen when you're 30, 31, as opposed to when you're 25. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. So I don't know. I feel like if we can keep him in the pocket and at least make him a passer and take his legs away somewhat, the Giants got a good chance to win that game, especially if Dex can get to him. Because if Dex gets to him, he's going to eat him for lunch.
Yep.
And I'm looking for that. DJ says Steelers did a great job of them last year. They played them like Lamar, containment on the ends, and Dex wreaks havoc pushing up the middle. Well, that's true. Anthony, you talked about it. You can move Abdul Carter inside, and you have Thibodeau and Burns rushing on the outside. So that front four can definitely do some damage. But we got to, the first game they held them the field goals, and we lost because we didn't have a kicker. But I feel like if we hold them the field goals, again, we will win that game. Just got to keep them out of the end zone. We're going to score more this year than we did last year. Okay, somebody said Deebo was 29. Well, 29, 30, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Deebo is not what Deebo was 5 years ago at all.
True.
I also think the X factor in that game, like you mentioned, Drew Phillips potentially playing that spiral. We talk a lot about Abdul Carter's ability to play as an elite pass rusher on the edge or on the interior. Actually, New York Giants, as I'm saying this, just said it. Abdul Carter should be the spy. He was an off-ball linebacker for the majority of his time at Penn State. The Giants have moved him to linebacker sometimes during training camp. I think that they tried to mask that wrinkle in their defense during the preseason, though. They really moved him a lot onto the interior of the defensive line and had him rush off the edge. But during the preseason, he didn't play a ton of off-ball linebacker. But I know for a fact that it's something that they were doing quite a bit during the training camp practices and team drills. And I think it's something that's going to come into handy when you're playing a team like Washington, because that is your athletic freak who knows his run fits, knows how to play those assignments. He actually probably can keep up with Jaden Daniels in short spaces because of his explosiveness and ability to pursue those quarterbacks as they rush. So I think that's your spy and really just your weapon X all across the defense. You'll see Abdul Carter on the edge playing contain and rushing Jaden Daniels. You'll see him rushing from the interior and trying to flush that pocket and force Jaden Daniels into those contains. And you'll see Abdul Carter playing off-ball linebacker as a spy and trying to prevent Jaden Daniels from rushing upfield. So that rookie, he's going to be pretty crucial for the Giants' success, especially against Washington in Week 1.
Yeah, well, I'm anxious to see it. We're less than a week away from football at this point. There is opening night football Thursday night. Two teams we can't stand: Philadelphia and Micah Parsons' Dallas. Philadelphia should win that by 3 touchdowns. I don't think that's even a question. I don't think that's going to be a game.
I wonder what the spread is on that now, too.
They're in Dallas, right? They're not in Philadelphia to start the year. So Philly's probably 6.5, something like that. I don't know. I'm not sure.
I'm going to check now.
See what that is.
Whatever it is, I'm taking it.
Yeah, I'm again. I thought the Giants would be a 6.5-point dog. They're a 4.5, so I was actually off by a lot on that. But I can see Philly being around a touchdown on the road, especially after Micah Parsons. I'm sure the line shifted a lot after that trade went
That's
through.
what I'm thinking. Like, I wonder if it went up to double digits.
If they were at home, possibly, but on the road, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, the game is in Philly. Okay, I didn't know the game was in Philly. My bad. Why didn't Philly start the year? Oh, they do. What am I talking about? Never mind. It's been a long week. The game is in Philly. So maybe they are 9.5 over Dallas.
Let's see.
One thing I can tell you is this.
It's 7.5
7.5.
on DraftKings. Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I can tell you is if the Eagles get off to a couple bad starts, like if they have a couple of drives where they punt, the fans will boo. That's what they do. Regardless, they just won a Super Bowl. They'll have a couple bad drives. The fans will get on their case. It's crazy. But with that said, guys and girls, we are going to get out of here. Appreciate you tuning in. Like I said, on a lunchtime edition of Giants Collective. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. As always, a big shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring the show. And hey, SeatGeek is going to sponsor the show all year long. So big ups to SeatGeek without question. We appreciate them very much. Use the promo code Giants Collective. Links in the description to get $20 off your first SeatGeek purchase. Check us out on Instagram, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, wherever you get your podcast. If you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple, that would be great. You can also check us out on TikTok and Instagram. So next week when we do this, we'll be talking about week 1 a lot. We'll do our schedule predictions, one of those shows. Actually, it's going to be Tuesday and Thursday. That's something we're going to be shifting to Tuesday and Thursday nights during the season, just so you guys know. I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the show, but we'll mention it next time. We're on Tuesday. Anyway, enjoy your Labor Day weekend, guys and girls. If you're going to go party, be safe, and we'll see you next time. For Anthony and Adrian's Bad Diggy Dizzle, and we out. Peace.